Well, I think we will go ahead and get started. Hopefully more will be joining in as we move through here. Welcome everyone. I'm very glad to see all of you. I'm Mary Lynn Vaughn, the manager of volunteer services, and this is our annual appreciation gathering. It's the time when we can thank our volunteers for all of their contributions to our success over the past year. Um, if you're a volunteer, would you raise your hand so that we know who you are? You can use the icon or you can actually physically raise your hand. A couple of guidelines that I want to mention. I'm going to ask you all to mute your mics and to keep them muted during the entire program until the end, when I'll invite you to unmute and to offer your congratulations to our great volunteers. Also, there will be information of interest to you in our chat box, so please be sure to check the chat box. We also, I want you to be aware that we will be recording this event, and it will be available to you upon request, and I'm sure that our development team will be using the video in other ways that I'm not um, uh, familiar with. And you might want to refer to the program that I sent all of you, because that's going to guide us through this morning's event. So now I am very pleased to share with you pictures of our great volunteers during this past year. You'll note that some of the pictures were taken pre-pandemic. So please enjoy the slideshow. That was so great. I hope that all of you enjoyed seeing yourselves and others in action. It was just wonderful. And thanks to Kenan for producing the slideshow. So now on to our award presentations. And I'd like to introduce our presenters. First up are Dr. Naomi McCants, our Chief Medical Officer, and Mary Ellen McAvoy, our Director of Clinical Operations, who will be followed by Dr. Teresa Grigo, who is our Chief Dental Officer, who will be followed by Susan De La Torre, the Executive Director of our Homes Clinic, who will be followed by Charlotte Garner, who is the Chair of the Change Committee, and finally, Francis Isbell, our Chief Executive Officer, and Paul Coomer, who is our Chair of our Board of Trustees. So, Mary Ellen and Dr. McCants, you're up.
Thanks, Marilyn. First, thank you for everybody attending today. We're really happy to be able to highlight you all and all the help that you give us throughout the year. So first, we're going to invite the following volunteers from Caroline to raise their hands, and you can raise your hand or use the Zoom icon. Byron Steele, Aiden Wright, Penny Jackson, and Anna Matuk. And it's our honor to present these volunteers with the Outstanding Volunteer Award. Each of them was nominated by multiple people within the clinic, and everyone agrees that they're outstanding because of their attitude, their discipline, their commitment to coming in, and their overall enthusiasm for volunteering with us. So every day it's pretty busy, and these volunteers have been flexible with the type of things they help us with. So they may be doing something like just shredding paper, or special projects like the patient satisfaction survey. One of our volunteers, Penny, distributed survival kits to our patients. And Byron has been coming in and helping with the pharmacy throughout the pandemic. So we're really grateful for their good work. They've been volunteering for over a year. They have maintained an excellent attendance record, and they're managing their volunteer week while balancing work, school, studying, and life. So we're really pleased to honor these absolutely fantastic volunteers and medical professionals of the future.
And it is my honor to present 3 awards to 3 outstanding volunteers, starting with Charlotte Garner. Can you raise your hand, please? I'll start with Charlotte, and then I'll introduce the other 2. Charlotte, we invite you to raise your hand and have everyone recognize you on behalf of the Change Committee. We'd like to present you with an Outstanding Volunteer Award. For those of you who are not familiar with the Change Committee, it is HHH's Consumer Advisory Board. Since the beginning of HHH, we have been dedicated to providing services relevant and responsive to the needs of those we serve. So a Consumer Advisory Board, otherwise known as the Change Committee, is a standing committee of the Board of Directors made up of formerly homeless people. Now the term is people who have experienced homelessness or experiencing homelessness. And they help give a voice to the people who we serve. Everything from how should we word things that to make them clear, what hours should we run, what are just things that we can do to serve our patients better. So, and there's also a member of the Change Committee that sits as a voting member of the governing board of directors. So on behalf of the Change Committee, Charlotte, we want to thank you for sharing your expertise so generously through the years, as you have served as the chairperson of the Change Committee for the past few years. And during Charlotte's time with us, she has been able to go to college and will receive her master's degree in nonprofit public management on May 15th. That is a huge accomplishment. And that's not enough. She will be moving on to begin working towards her PhD after that. And for those of you who've been to our events here for the past years, she is Charlotte's not only accomplished so many things in academia lately, but she's also a humorist and a poet, and she many times shares those gifts at our events. So on behalf of all of us here, Charlotte, thank you so much, and we are so excited to see what is yet to come. The next two people that we would like to recognize for Outstanding Service Awards are Catherine Simpson and Dr. David Wallace. We invite the two of you to also raise your hands using the icons if you haven't done so already. Catherine Simpson is a nurse practitioner who has been volunteering with us since the pandemic. She's been coming into clinic and seeing patients and sharing her many years of experience in helping us take care of patients during this. It's kind of an exceptionally difficult time for a lot of patients. So in addition to being a clinician and teacher, she's also an accomplished academician who has published many articles in the nursing profession. So thank you very much for taking the time to come out and serve our patients during this time. And finally, Dr. David Wallace. Many of you may know him, especially the Holmes students, because he has been with us for many, many years. He is a faculty at the University of Houston School of Pharmacy and has been a faculty advisor and clinical preceptor at Holmes since the beginning. So when the pandemic hit last year, like everyone, HHH scrambled to make adjustments to try to continue to serve our patients while trying to keep everyone as safe as possible. And one of the first things that we did was to ask staff and volunteers who were at risk for medical complications, severe medical complications should they contract the virus, to stay at home. And our head pharmacist, who's also an amazing volunteer for many years, was one of those people that we felt who would need to stay home. We wanted him to stay home due to being in one of those high-risk groups. However, our clinic remained open throughout the pandemic, and we very much still needed to keep dispensing medications. And it was at this time that Dr. Wallace volunteered to come in and fill the gap. He counted pills, packaged medications, printed labels, reviewed inventory, supervised volunteers in the pharmacy, and pretty much helped keep everything going during that time. He would even come in the evenings and weekends and keep medications in stock and make sure that the pharmacy was still operating according to standard regulations. And for those of you who know Dr. Wallace, you know he is so humble and understated about his generous contributions to teaching and to serving others that one of our staff who works with him came up with a great term to describe him as a service ninja. So thank you, Dr. Wallace, for your immense help during this time of need in this past year. And thank you for your continued service with the Holmes Clinic. So again, we are very pleased to honor these three professionals for their time and contributions to our patients. And thank you to all the volunteers. Thank you for all being here today. Know that we can't recognize each one of you individually, but I know that the time that you've spent with our patients and giving your skills, your gifts, just your kindness and compassion, I know that that will be something that you will be rewarded for in ways that are beyond what a plaque or a certificate or it's that can bring. So thank you so much for each one of you, for the things that you've brought to HHH and our patients. Am I supposed to do something else? Dr. Grego?
Good morning, everyone. I'm the dental director. My name is Teresa Grego, Dr. Grego. And well, all I can say is what a year. 2020 wasn't easy, but we kept going. The dental clinic didn't see patients at the end of March and April last year, but Angelica, who's our staff dental assistant, and I did see a few emergency patients during that time. We performed a few extractions and root canals that we couldn't just treat with antibiotics and pain meds. And I remember we were kind of shaking in our boots the first couple of patients we extracted on, but we just proceeded slowly and easy, praying the whole time it wouldn't turn into a messy surgical extraction. And we kind of looked like space monsters with all the gear we had on. It was very hard to breathe with the N95s and the surgical masks over that, and the face shields over that, and the vinyl gowns and the surgical caps. It was a lot, but we felt safe enough. And then in April and May, we probably watched 100 webinars trying to figure out the best way to reopen the dental clinic. And we had trainings for the volunteers on the new procedures on ventilation, PPE, new equipment, down to how to implement what I call the seat, treat, and complete protocol, along with our new walkie-talkies. And then with all our systems in place, we opened back up on June 1st. I must say that I'm very proud of all our volunteers. Talk about a fearless bunch, a committed bunch. They were ready to get back in there. Their energy, their enthusiasm, their courage is just beyond words. They were calling the clinic, asking when they can return. They would tell us, we want to volunteer. While most people were on lockdown, they fled back to the dental clinic to serve the people, which is amazing. Their selflessness, their desire to put other people's needs before their own is truly, truly remarkable. They're committed to the patients, to dentistry, and to HHH. As the coronavirus tightened its grip in 2020, the dental volunteers dug in their heels even more and made it clear to me that dentistry is their future. Even with all the aerosols, even with the patients coughing on them, and even with the drill spraying all over, they didn't back down. By sticking to all the protocols, they were kept safe, and they kept compliance stayed high overall. And thanks be to God that we have not had a positive case coming from the dental clinic itself. And the pandemic and all the chaos and confusion it caused is horrible, but there's something good that comes out of every bad thing. For me, the pandemic showed me people's true colors. A person's character really comes through when something like this happens. And all of the volunteers are terrific in their willingness to help. All of you do your part to the best of your ability. You didn't run away. You didn't faint. Well, one did faint, but that's a story for another time. All of you did a fantastic job. And I raise my Yeti to you. Thank you for all your hard work and your commitment. All of you are exceptional in my eyes, but there are a few who went above. And our first outstanding dental volunteer is Min Pham. And he's known as Brian, or affectionately as Min O'Brien. Brian's out camping, so he wasn't able to make it today, but we thank you, Brian, and we're honored to have you receive the Outstanding Volunteer Award for your genuine desire to help. Our next outstanding dental volunteer is Felicia Ban. And Felicia can be described in 3 phrases: big heart, big personality, and big talker. Felicia loves to talk, and she's so cute, and she has a heart of gold. She cares deeply for others and has a passion for helping others. She does all her work with great joy. She's one of the happiest people I know, and her happiness spills over onto others, and it makes others happy. She's definitely a people person. Many of our patients don't have anyone to talk to, but Felicia will talk with them and listen to them. She's good at both, and she's smart, and she knows her dental procedures. She's willing to jump in wherever she's needed. She has a take charge personality and doesn't wait for anyone to tell her what to do. She takes initiative. And if Angelica is not in the clinic, she steps into the role as lead assistant, which I think takes a lot of courage. And so, Felicia, thank you. We are honored to have you receive the Outstanding Volunteer Award for your commitment and for your passion. Thank you. Our next outstanding dental volunteer is Anthony Wynn. And Anthony looks like a 15-year-old kid. Well, okay, maybe 16, but don't let his young looks fool you. Out of all the volunteers, I think that Anthony caught on to the workings of the dental clinic the fastest. He's very good at procedures. He's very good with patients. If we have a difficult surgery where the volunteer can't keep up with me, then the volunteer gets fired by Dr. Grigo and Angelica comes in. So none of the volunteers want to be fired. And Anthony is one of the volunteers who has never been fired. So Anthony's very soft-spoken and he's very calm. I like to listen to him talk with patients. He's very soothing. He's like my topical anesthetic. He gets the patients nice and relaxed for me. The massage feature on the dental chairs help too. Anthony helps out in any way he can. When we make dentures, we have these like wax occlusal rims, and sometimes the wax drips onto the floor and then people step on the wax and it becomes these black spots. Well, Anthony even scraped off all those spots off the floor. So no job is too big or too small for him. He does it all. And for that, I am truly, truly grateful. Anthony, thank you. And we are honored to have you receive the Outstanding Volunteer Award for all that you do and the way you do it. Thank you. Our next outstanding dental volunteer is David Swinehart. And David wasn't able to make the award meeting today because it's his turn to babysit his grandson. But we thank you, David, for you're truly amazing. We just thank him. He's 75 years old and God bless him. He still comes in and he does all this wonderful work for us. And I appreciate his courage and his tremendous love of people. I met David when I went on the Honduras mission trip. So he's got a great heart for all people, but especially for the poor. So thank you, David. The final award is the Dr. George Sayre Award, and that's our highest award. And it's given for the dental volunteer who has shown dedication commitment, and overall superior service in all areas. And Dr. George Sayre was the volunteer dentist who founded the HHH Dental Clinic. His excellence and pioneering volunteer spirit are remembered and carried on through Jonathan Lee. Jonathan is just amazing, but there's two words that come to my mind when I think of Jonathan, and those are family and leader. He is always talking about his family, his mom and dad and sister, and you can just feel the love when he talks about them. They are very important to him. Jonathan's also a natural leader. He's extremely friendly and outgoing. His integrity is obvious. He's hardworking and very thorough. He's the president of the U of H American Student Dental Association. He's a great organizer. He sets up all sorts of learning experiences for the members, such as a suturing workshop and teaching kids in the community on how to floss with these big plastic teeth and Play-Doh and of course floss. And he's just a lot of fun. Jonathan is also gung-ho. He's a gung-ho advocate for HHH. When we needed volunteers, he recruited many good quality volunteers for the clinic. And when he's around, things just get done. I don't think that no is in his vocabulary. He's responsible, dependable, extremely helpful to his fellow volunteers. He encourages them. He's a great asset to the staff. I could just go on and on. Oh, one more thing about Jonathan. He was just accepted into Missouri's dental school this year, thanks to the support and encouragement of his dad and his parents. So congratulations, Jonathan. Thank you for everything. And it is my honor and privilege to give Jonathan the Dr. George Sayre Award. So a big thank you to all of our volunteers and a big hug. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Susie. I am the current director of Holmes Clinic, and today I will be presenting 4 outstanding volunteer awards for officers who acted as our volunteers this year, and they all showed very commendable leadership and involvement during COVID. However, before announcing those names, I would like to quickly comment on the organization as a whole over this past year. When COVID first hit, the usual stress of school and everything going on for all of our students was really compounded by a lot of uncertainty and a lot of new challenges. And despite this, and despite the clinic closing last spring, all of our officers still made Holmes Clinic a top priority. And I would really just like to recognize and thank everyone for stepping up, keeping Holmes in their foresight, and also just going above and beyond during this challenging year. With this in mind, it was very difficult to narrow down the selection for awards just because everyone really did step up. However, there were a few individuals that did set themselves apart by really jumping into action and keeping us involved while our Sunday clinic was closed. And for the first outstanding volunteer award, I would like to present it to Matthew Lagarde. He is the outgoing executive director. Matthew, if you could please raise your hand, that way we can see you and congratulate you. There he is. Matthew not only provided strong leadership over the past year, but he also did the impossible. He kept stressed out students invested in a clinic that was temporarily closed on the Sunday. And instead of, shrugging off or taking the year off, he challenged all of us to adapt and find ways to continue serving our community. He really kept us engaged throughout the year. He immediately started working with our officers on reopening plans, even though we didn't know when that would be. And along the way, he even added a new school affiliate. So overall, it was very successful. The whole officer board really enjoyed working with Matthew because he is approachable, he makes meetings fun, and he would show an interest in us as people, not just as students. So that was really nice. I would like to note that Matthew is a graduating student from the McGovern Medical School, and he will be entering psychiatry residency at Tulane this fall. So congratulations, Matthew, and thank you for being such a great leader this year.
Thank you, Susie, and thank you all so much.
Of course. On to Rhea Sotal. Rhea, if you could please raise your hand. Rhea deserves this award because she organized a widely successful donation drive at the start of the pandemic. She led a team of officers to collect, organize, and distribute personal items that the homeless needed during a time when a lot of their resources were being shut down. Her leadership during this project was a greatly appreciated boost in morale for the whole team. And she showed that we're still able to be there for our patient population, even though our clinic was closed. I would like to note that Rhea is a graduating student from the College of Pharmacy, and she will be entering residency at Memorial Hermann in the Woodlands this fall. Congratulations, Rhea, and thank you so much for the work you did this past year.
Thank you so much, Susie, and the team.
Okay. And for our third Outstanding Volunteer Award, it will be going to Sarah Song. Sarah, if you could please raise your hand, that way we can recognize you. Sarah is a rising third-year student at McGovern Medical School. She's being presented this award for a hand washing project that she led last summer. Our director Matthew asked our officers to be creative and create an interactive project that would still fill the need for our homeless population in Houston. And Sarah did not hesitate. She started organizing. She led an effort that constructed hand washing stations from hardware store supplies. She oversaw their installment and their weekly refilling with fresh water. Overall, it was a really great effort that successfully helped our patients keep their hands clean during the time when that was very, very important. She was especially thoughtful because before starting the project, she did a lot of research to make sure that they were being put up in places where they were needed, where there was not access to clean hand washing water. I really look forward to seeing what Sarah is able to do with homes in the future, because obviously throughout this past year, she has shown she is able to juggle planning projects, but also having fun while completing them. Thank you for the work you did this year, Sarah, and congratulations.
Thanks, Susie. Excited.
All right. And then I have a fourth outstanding volunteer award that will be going to Emily Chow. Emily, if you can please raise your hand. That way we can recognize you. Emily is a rising third-year medical student at the Baylor College of Medicine, and she is being presented this award for her organization of the COVID vaccine drives. These are recent projects. After reopening recently in February, we were already trying to figure out how are we going to make this happen, social distancing, everything. Some people might find it intimidating to take on a new project during something that was already new, but Emily was not intimidated. She took on the project, and we were able to do something totally new, administer COVID vaccines. That's different than flu vaccines. There were a lot of logistical challenges that Emily was able to overcome. And overall, it was a huge success. We were able to vaccinate 20 patients in our first weekend with first doses. And we had a subsequent second dose that Emily also was able to organize. And you know a project is a success when your patient population and your volunteers afterwards are asking you if there will be more. So thank you very much, Emily. You are obviously a natural at planning successful and enjoyable projects. Thank you for your work this year and congratulations.
Thank you, Susie.
Good morning to this distinguished gathering of selfless servants. I am Charlotte Garner, a formerly homeless individual and the chair of HHH's Consumer Advisory Board. Today, of the significance of this acknowledgement. I'm here today on behalf of the Consumer Advisory Board to pay homage to our illustrious CEO, Ms. Frances Isbell. While the acronym CEO is usually designated as the Chief Executive Officer, we, the members of the CAB, feel a better interpretation would be caring ambassador and overseer. It's very hard to put into words what it means to be on the first name basis with someone in her position. We receive support, encouragement, direction, and most of all, leeway to freely join and participate in this all-important endeavor, eradicating homelessness. The affiliation with the CAB is just one of the numerous hats she wears on behalf of the homeless. She is a missionary, a visionary, a politician, a legislator, a negotiator, and the list could go on and on and on. She never shies away from a task, no matter how menial. I've seen her clean tables after events, and she steps up to the plate no matter how daunting. So I've seen her also begin initiatives that nobody thought would have the opportunity to succeed and to execute with excellence. With oftentimes grave personal sacrifice, she is dedicated to the mission of this organization and has continued to tirelessly, with complete abandon and in humility and sincerity, live out a lifestyle of service. So without further ado, I submit the CABs of HHHs as they recognize Ms. Frances Isbell as our outstanding volunteer staff recipient for 2021. Thanks for all you've done, continue to do, and all you'll do henceforth. But most of all, thanks for being you, our gentle giant and our fearless leader. Thank you, Frances.
Thank you, Charlotte. It's very touching to me that you guys did that. It really is. My relationship with the Consumer Advisory Board is one of the kind of highlights of my life and my work. It's an honor to be with you. Thank you. So Paul Coomer, who is our current board chair, and I are going to make closing comments for the event. And I'm quite honored to be here to congratulate and honor all of the volunteers. As we knew that the pandemic was coming our way, we started planning in January for how we would try to keep everyone safe. The staff safe, the volunteers safe, and our patients safe. And it felt pretty daunting, certainly at sometimes. Because we wanted to keep everyone safe, for a period of time, we didn't have any volunteers come in. In the very beginning, we knew so little, and and we were frightened, certainly, and concerned about trying to keep everyone safe. As we began to learn more and more about the virus itself, we slowly began to start letting some volunteers come back in. So this year, even though we have had fewer volunteers than we normally have, it's still astonishing to me that we had 285 volunteers over the year 2020. So that's, to me, just incredible. Of those, or with those 285 volunteers, we had 12,668 volunteer hours. Again, pretty amazing when you think about everything that we went through in 2020. And those 12,000 hours translate into $331,000 worth of services that help to provide care for the people that we all are serving. As one of the things that Carly Brown, our Executive Vice President, asked me to do was to congratulate and honor the people who worked on our event this past year. Certainly, we didn't have an in-person event. We had an online event, and the people that worked on that event worked tirelessly, and it wound up being that we had the highest turnout and the highest return for that event than we've ever had before. So the event committee consisted of Sarah Aramburo, Cindy Calder, Shelley Fair, Grace Ferretti, Lori Fries, Bronwyn Lauder, Britta Schwab, Nicole Thornton, and Donique Williams. Thank you for making that the most successful fundraising event in our history. We are looking forward to some new endeavors this coming year. In about a little over a month, we'll be opening a new clinic, a satellite clinic that is located within a community of formerly homeless families. This clinic will be one of its only kind in the United States. So we're really excited about that. And part of why we're so excited about it is because in working with the kids, it feels like we're going to be working upstream. In other words, trying to work to interrupt the cycle of homelessness and poverty as we work with the children. And that feels pretty exciting to us. We have opened up the Cathedral Clinic again. We won't be able to open up fully until we no longer have to practice social distancing because of the small area, waiting area at the Cathedral Clinic. But at the Caroline Clinic, we're actually at productivity rates higher than pre-pandemic. So the staff and the volunteers that help to work in that clinic are working as hard as they can to try to keep providing the care that we normally provide, in addition to being the city's official testing site for people living in shelters on the streets and being a vaccination hub. We've already vaccinated approximately 600 people, so we're pretty excited about that as well. So again, thank you for everything that you do. I always say, and mean it, we couldn't do everything that we do without the volunteers that we have. You are such an integral part of who and what we are and what we do. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Paul Coomer, our chair.
Thank you, Francis. I'm supposed to present an award to Brad Rowe, but I don't see that Brad Rowe has joined today. If you happen to join and I've missed it, please speak up, Brad. But he's to receive an Outstanding Service Award today. Brad was the former chair for the last 2 years. And I'd like to, in his absence, thank him for his steady hand and leadership through particularly a challenging 2020, as well as leadership with the Reed Road Family Clinic that Francis mentioned. So thank you, Brad, and we'll talk soon. To all of our volunteers, I'd like to echo the sentiments shared by the various presenters and Francis today. On behalf of the Board of Directors, in particular, I'd like to share our sincere gratitude and thanks for the service you provide, your dedication and loyalty to the mission of healthcare for the homeless. The services you provide and the hours you put in is invaluable to the success of the organization. So again, thank you all very much. Congratulations to the award winners, and looking forward to 2021 and beyond, and the opportunities that are going to present themselves there. So thank you. Mary Lane?
Thank you, presenters, and congratulations to everyone. We really, really could not do this job without you, and we love you. Now it's a great honor for me to introduce our friend Chris Wong, who will be presenting a piano solo of Over the Rainbow. Chris is a former volunteer, much like many of you, and is currently a third-year medical student at Baylor College of Medicine. He's continued to be a loyal contributor to our yearly volunteer gatherings, and I don't know what we're going to do next year because Chris is going off to London to pursue a master's in public health at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. This is all courtesy of a Rotary Club grant. So congratulations, Chris. I asked Chris to perform this beautiful song because I think the song represents hope that the bad times for the world will soon be over, and that we will get over the rainbow. Chris.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for inviting me. This is a personal arrangement of Over the Rainbow that I made specifically for this event, and I hope you enjoy.
Thank you, Chris. That was just so incredibly beautiful. Thank you so much. Now I invite everyone to unmute your mics and to express your appreciation to our great volunteers.
Yay.
Yay.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you for coming. And I hope to see you all again next year. We don't know what the format will be, but I hope to see you then. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you, Mary Ellen.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Goodbye.
Mary
Thank you, Mary.
And everyone.
Thank you, Mary Ellen.
Thanks. Thank you.